Why should I be forced to do business with people I can't trust? That's my question to you right now. Give me one valid reason why I should do business with somebody who I believe, I know, I have seen time and time again is likely going to screw me over. Now, most rational, sane-minded people would say, you don't and you shouldn't. However, there are those out there who believe that no matter what, you should do business with people who quote unquote look like you. More specifically, if you are black, you must do business with other black people. Support black businesses. Now, I've broken this subject down at least twice in form of videos. And I feel it's something that needs to be not only revisited, but something we need to go more in depth on, right? Why is there this cultural responsibility or duty to do business with people like yourself? Now, it's not just the black community where you find this. It's in many different communities, let's say within the United States, where you have different ethnocentric groups that come into the United States that look to, I guess, create some sort of community, then build within that community. You can bring up maybe Chinese Americans. That's why you find Chinatowns everywhere, all the way to Jewish Americans who will likely do business amongst their own. Now, here's a difference. In these sort of dynamics, when you have the Asian Americans, Jewish Americans, etc., there is an expectation of the quality of service and product, which means you must be the best at what you are doing in order to be the one that we go to. We're not just coming to you because you look like me. We're coming to you because you do good business. Simple as that. And so I just want to present two distinct videos that I believe are going to kind of tie this point together. And I'll let them speak for themselves, and then we'll break this down. Video number one, let's get into it.
Evening, surveillance cameras caught 3 people leaving without paying a $200 bill for a shrimp and lobster dinner, according to the owners.
The young lady who was serving their table, she got kids at home. She gets a percentage of that tip. She worked hard to serve their table. They had a lot of food. It's actually disappointing. It's very disappointing to see that from the community that we actually serve, because we pour into our community. We're a small business, and I see this happening so often to a lot of different small businesses throughout the city.
So let me run this back one more time. If you guys didn't see at the very beginning of the video,
evening,
you have what
surveillance
looks to be
cameras caught 3 people leaving without paying a $200.
So a grown-ass man and 2 grown-ass women. They're the ones who are dining and dashing. Now, I have no respect for anybody, no matter what your ethnicity may or may not be, your gender. I don't give a damn. If you are a thief, my pops always used to say, like, a liar is a thief, and a thief is liable to become an executioner, somebody who would take somebody's life, for the simple fact that you lack integrity. And once you go down that slippery slope of criminality, there's no telling how far down you go and how much you can justify your own sin. But beyond that, here are 3 grown-ass individuals who have decided that instead of paying $200, now forget the tip, right? There's already the stereotype of black folks don't tip, etc. I will happen to say that that's not the truth for at least me, right? I can only speak for myself and family members and those who are closest to me. I don't know what else is going on out there. I don't. I have not been the person in the restaurant working the job dealing with a predominant black clientele. So I don't know. All I can go off of is what I hear and what I see. Now, $200, that's not cheap. That's not something to wink at. And as they were saying, I guess these are the owners. The waitress or waiter is dependent upon that money. There's no empathy here. There's no compassion. But more often than not, what we do get is gaslighting. What we do get is shame, or at least being shamed for not being one of these people who believe it is your moral obligation to do business with somebody because they look like you. So I wanted to bring this one up at first, and then we'll bring up the second one. They are interlinked, obviously, but they're much different in, I guess, context. So let me go ahead and bring this up, and then we're really about to dive deep into this one, because I'm about sick and tired of people still fighting this logic of do business with those who do the best business, no matter what their background, ethnicity may be, etc. If you want to do business on the basis of just skin color, no matter what type of service or product you're getting, that's between you and the donkey you rode in on. But as far as this obligatory thing that is pushed, is like this unwritten contract, this social contract that has been, I think, in the ethers for God knows how long, that needs to go. So let's get into it.
Man, you folk black niggas some hoes.
All of it. All of it on crib. Heavy nigga.
Nigga, you a hoe, nigga.
Like that.
Yo, nigga, you a pussy ass nigga. Yo, nigga. And this murder game tapping in. And tell twins and I said, fuck like that.
Hey, lift your jacket up real quick.
You lift your shit up if I switch cheeses right now.
Hey, lift your jacket up.
Crib, nigga.
Hey, lift your jacket up.
Yeah, lift that shit up. Y'all some broke ass.
Now imagine being the person robbing somebody else. Scratch that. You're robbing two kids who are on the street selling waters, and you have the audacity to call them broke. You're taking pennies, nickels, and dollars from these young boys, and you're calling them. You're asking dude to asking him. You're threatening dude into taking off his zip up, his pull up, Old Navy, and you're calling him. Let's just go ahead and finish this, and I'll give you guys the context because it's not fully outlined in this.
Y'all niggas some broke ass. I'm gonna see you next time I see you.
Let me catch you no more. All that bumping on the ass. Hey, come here. Come here. Give me no cigarette. In the water. In the water. In the water. Give me the water.
Y'all niggas some hoes, nigga.
All right, so to give a little bit of context on what's going on here, because likely most of y'all could not understand what the hell was even being said, right? This is what I call baboon dialect. It's the only thing that I can really, I guess, encapsulate what the hell is going on there, right? So we have boys on the street, or boys on, I guess, some freeway, whatever it is, who are selling waters. This is something that's common within a lot of places in the South. I know Atlanta, you find a lot of these like water selling boys. This is their hustle. That's what they're doing. Hopefully it's all legal and whatnot. But essentially what happens is they get pulled up on by guys who look to be pretending to buy waters from them, but instead these guys end up robbing them. Now, mind you, these so happen to be black boys who are selling the water, and the people who are robbing them happen to be the very same. Now, the reason I brought these two videos in contrast is because we have the same thing happening just in different formats, right? We have black-owned business, if you may say. One is a restaurant, and one is these two boys selling water on the side of the freeway. And then you have somebody robbing them of their product. Think about that. One is a $200 plate, and one is maybe a few dollars worth of water bottles, as well as the money they made from selling those water bottles. And of course, you have harassment and threats and things like that nature taking place in the second video. But still, the undertone, the underlying context is this. And it's on both sides, which is on one side, you're forced to do business with, and then on the other side, you're forced to do business for. And, this is not always the easiest conversation to have because people get offended. They feel some type of way. They're triggered because they personalize it. But this is the God honest truth. The reason why you'll find that some people, and this is black, non-black, whatever it may be, choose to not do business with people who look a certain way, i.e. profiling, is because of experiences or the experiences of those around them. For example, if you're a store owner and you're constantly robbed by people who look like you, you're constantly robbed by a specific group. Take away from people who look like you. Let's say they're green people, right? They're just part of our human family, green humans. And 9 times out of 10, the people who have robbed you have been green people. Would you as a business owner not be savvy enough to say, let me move into a place where these green people do not exist? Or let me create a policy where these green people cannot do business with me. I'm not willing to do business with these green people. Now, unfortunately, the 1 out of the 10 who may not be the same as the rest are going to feel deprived. They're going to feel they're being segregated against or whatever it is. But would you not understand? Would you not get it? That there's a likelihood that if you're going to do business with, if you're going to service somebody like this, you may not get paid. You may have threats on your life. You may get robbed in real time, like we saw in that second video. There might be some sort of conflict. You're now having to defend your life because of some little petty thing that may have happened. And that's at the core of the problem. Well, I mean, the real root of the problem is the cultural acceptance of this way of living and being. And, you know, I'm currently reading Thomas Sowell's Black Rednecks and White Liberals. And he specifically highlights this culture that came from quote unquote redneck culture that black folks in America adopted. I mean, there was a time in American history during the context of slavery where white slave owners would rather have black people on their property than white rednecks, because the culture was so depraved. These people were violent. These people were unhinged. These people were lazy. These people, I mean, they were everything we're now seeing within the ghetto culture. They rob one another. They're not willing to be industrious. They're likely the ones to call you broke while robbing you. You know what I mean? Just full-blown ignorance. They're uneducated, etc. You have black folks who were thriving, were very educated, but because it was a different standard that was being set, we didn't have this, you know, this neo-Marxist sort of mentality of the oppressed versus the oppressor. And then black folks are now being coddled into thinking and behaving a certain way to get away with this sort of depraved behavior and not even being checked for it. There's no correction. Therefore, why would you correct it? Why would you do anything different if your outside environment is telling you, you poor thing, you poor baby, you couldn't help it, and therefore we're going to continue to give you handouts? This ties directly into the DEI mentality. You should not be forced to do business with, but then on the other side, there is another side of the token, which is I'm forced to have to do business with you. I'm forced to have to engage with you, even though there is a threat. Like if I'm an owner of a property, I understand that there are laws in place to make sure that you're not, you know, discriminating, etc. But I'm going to choose on the basis of who I think is going to be the most likely to pay rent, which is going to factor in a lot of demographic aspects, right? Social, economic, and things of that nature, obviously. Are they making enough money? Let me see your background. Have you been able to keep a job or, you know, make constant income? But I also want to know, like, is this a person with a family? I might discriminate more to say if you don't have, you know, kids, you may have more of a likelihood to just up and leave or not, you know, not pay your rent or whatever it is. I know that's, you know, surface level, but it's an example. I might look to culture. What types of people? Because I want the best odds of, honestly, as a business owner, being able to continue doing business. I have done stories of, you know, people in certain neighborhoods, like in San Francisco, different places in the Bay Area where I came up. You have Asian store owner in a predominantly black neighborhood. This man has been robbed of over $200,000 at a single time. In some cases, being absolutely wiped out. The law is not in protection of this man because you have these democratic policies that are being pushed from the likes of a Gavin Newsom. And now you have to make a decision. Well, do I continue to allow these people to be my clients, or do I just wash my hands of it completely, go elsewhere, and now be blamed of being racist? I would honestly rather be labeled as racist than to compromise and jeopardize my business. And the only way to fix it, again, is to continue to call out the behavior itself, to say that's not okay, and to make that kind of decisive, hard line in the sand. In the first story, I don't know if you guys noticed, but he mentioned how essentially he didn't have those people arrested. He didn't have them pursued for what they did. There's likely some sort of quote unquote empathy that he may feel. Well, you know, you never know what they were going through. And I mean, you know, I know they did what they did, but you just got to understand it. No, to hell with that. I'm start profiling. At the very least with y'all, I'm going to put pictures up of people who look like, I say, watch out. Make sure that these people right here pay before they eat. I mean, I would have that as a policy regardless in my restaurant. Like, unless it's a sit down or whatever it is, I'm going to say, you're going to come up to the counter, you're going to order, you're going to pay, and then go sit your butt down. At least we've already been paid. You choose not to give a tip or what? Okay, that's between you and you. But we're going to get paid first because I don't know if I can trust you because past experiences have shown me as such. And I'm not going to be gaslit out of common sense because of some quote unquote racial affinity. And this goes for everybody. So the best thing we can do is to allow for good business to be done and to not box yourself in. Some of your best customers are not going to look anything like you. The fact that I even have to bring that up as a point is insane. But again, this is the day and age that we're in. We're in a place where we have to dismantle a lot of these psychological hangups that we move through life with. You don't have to do business just what people look like. You don't have to be a black owned and black people for black by black. Unless that's a marketing scheme, it's going to disable your business. I open my business up to any and everybody that is willing to do good business with me, whether it's a service or a product that I'm providing. And I'm going to look to be in an environment that's going to be aligned with the values that I have. Don't open up a shop in the hood unless you want whatever happens in the hood. Don't open a shop in the damn trailer park unless you're willing to put up with what the hell is going to go on in that environment. Simple. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.